Go.
Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to our YouTube channel for our Trending Thursday on YouTube. My name is Glenn Tompkins, Senior Instructor here at VectorVest. If you can hear me loud and clear, please respond in the affirmative, preferably with VV Nation, to let me know that I am coming across loud and clear. And we are dual streaming on both YouTube and on Facebook. There we go. Martin says VV Nation Jockey Club. Excellent. You guys are slow so far this morning. Holy smokes. You guys need some coffee? Not a lot of chatter so far. Just curious. Just hopefully make sure everybody's okay. All right. Check your pulses. Make sure that everybody, hey, pinch yourself. Pinch yourself and let me know that you're okay. If you pinch yourself, let me know that you felt it and went, ow. All right. So I got Roger here from Arizona. Daniel is here on YouTube. Ninja is always here. Thank you for supporting the channel, Ninja. Martin is here. I'm trying to see who's on our Facebook side. You guys have the opportunity to chat in as well, just the same. So I don't see anybody chatting on Facebook as of yet. Let me do a refresh to make sure that everything is good to go on my YouTube chat. On my Facebook chat. All right, when you guys feel wanting to chat in, by all means, please do so. Ninja said just got out of a meeting. Excellent. All right, so I'm going to do one other thing real quick just to be on the safe side. Facebook, VectorVest. See if I don't see you guys chatting here on my phone rather than on my screen. Just trying to see, so just bear with me for a second. No. You're here somewhere. There you are. Let's open that up. Let's go see if I see the chat there. All right. I know the chat is here on my screen. I just don't see anybody chatting. All right. Well, like I said, if you want to chat. All right. What do we do here on Trending Thursday? Trending Thursday is all about news on stocks that are moving. So we're going to look at and we're going to analyze stocks live. I'm going to talk to you about what's going on with a lot of different industries, what industries are moving, what stocks in the industries are moving. And then, of course, I do have stocks of interest. There's a lot of stocks that caught my attention this week that I definitely want to talk to you about. So we will do that. First off, if you are new to the channel, please hit the subscribe button. All right. Hit the subscribe button, hit the bell icon so that you'll get the alert. I send out an alert before every presentation. Hit the like button, especially if you like the content and you find it useful. So I really want to, and if you do subscribe, a little emote should pop up on my screen to say as a way of saying thank you for subscribing to the channel. All right, so we always want to do that as well. A couple of other things to talk about. This week was the first week where we kicked off the trading for charity, and man, has it been going gangbusters already. So, folks, if you haven't already, Tuesday and Wednesday, Patrick does a live stream of trading for charity where we're trying to raise money for less fortunate children for Christmas. And this is your way to help us to do, though. For every subscriber we get to the channel, you are automatically donating. But if you are a subscriber to the channel already and you want to donate, you can use super chats. And we're for the next 4 weeks or so on Tuesdays and Wednesdays right here on YouTube. Please support him. Please support him. As you see on the screen, the pop-up for it. It's a great cause. He's very passionate about it. And as we raise money, he and I will go out and buy toys for these kids, and we're going to do a video of us giving the toys away to the kids. And it's going to be all because of you making it happen. So all you need to do, one, is subscribe to the channel. As soon as you do that, if you're a new subscriber to the channel, you automatically donate to the cause. If you are currently a subscriber to the channel and you want to donate, you can use the super chat function, which is towards the bottom of your chat. You can hit the little $ or something, and you can do that as well. Another thing I want to talk about is the Tampa 2-Day. We are going to be live. As of right now, we will be live in Tampa on I believe it's the 7th and the 8th of January in Tampa. Seats are going to go fast, especially for the in-person. If you are planning to go in person, folks, you need to sign up for it soon. All right? Keeping that in mind, we do have a live stream as well you can sign up for. That way you can watch all 2 days from the comfort of your home. All right. Now, with that, how many people, let's do this. How many people have watched the Patrick presentations for the trade for charity? Type a 1 in the room. If you haven't seen it yet, again, this was the first week. Type a 2 in the room. I'm just curious to know how many of you so far have already watched. And by watching and subscribing to the channel, you are helping it out. Definitely. You are helping it out. There you go. Ninja's already doing it. Roger's already doing it. I still don't see any chat from the Facebook side, and I wonder why. I wonder, are you guys there? Hello, is this thing on? Bueller. Is this thing on? I don't want to hit the start live video on my phone, do I, Clay? I don't want to do that. Joey's not here today. I've got Clay in the background running things for me this week, running for me today. Glenn, there are 61 comments of Facebook. There are? How come I don't see them? Dang it. And Joey is the one that sets this up for me on my phone, and I don't see it on my screen. I don't know why. And if I'm missing, and it looks like I am missing you guys on Facebook, and I apologize. I'm just trying to get the chat to come up on the Facebook side, and I'm not seeing it. I see the live. It's happening now. I click on it, and I'm not seeing them. Oh, sigh. That makes me sad. Makes me so sad. I don't want to hit the live to go live to start the event. The live will appear in the event on your page. I'm not going to do that. I don't think I do that on my phone. For some reason, folks on Facebook, I ain't seeing you. And I apologize. I'm going to try this a different way. That's happening now. Let's click on it here. I can't see. It won't let me see the chat. And I apologize, folks, because it won't let me see the chat. And again, I'm not going to hit live video. I don't think I do that. Go live to start the event. The video will appear in the event on your page. I'm not going to do that. All right. I apologize for all my people on Facebook because for some reason I can't see the chat. And for that, and I can't see it on my phone either. Something wrong at your end on Facebook? No, it's something that I'm not doing right. That's what it is. It's something that I'm not doing right, and I apologize because I can't fix it on the fly. All right. So tell you what I'll do. You guys will keep me, whoever's looking at Facebook, you guys will keep me apprised as to any questions that come across. We'll do it that way. All right. With that, let's get into what we always start off with is the market. All right. We always start off with the market. So we're going to get into the program and we're going to talk about what's going on in the market. So from the VectorVest system of analysis, we've got a traffic light into the market right here, looking at our color guard. A lot of yellow popping up after all of the green was. We got 2 green lights today, but I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 yellow. So now I'm half yellow and the rest is either green or red. 1 red bar in here. So what does this mean? It means to just be cautious. Today looks like it's a good up day in the market. Actually, we got a mixed day in the market. The Dow is slightly down, but the NASDAQ is leading the charge as it has been for the past few days. The tech stocks are what's on the move. We'll go down. The S&P is up about 0.25% or so, and our VectorVest composite is the second biggest mover in the market, up about 0.5%. All right. Here's our advance to decline today. We've got more stocks going up than going down. So that's what's going on today. But now the other side of the equation is what's making the market look the way that it does over the last few days, the last couple of weeks, the last month, over the year. And there's always news behind what's driving the market higher or lower. And in this case, earnings are still the leading story. Companies are still meeting or exceeding their earnings expectations. That is going to drive the stock's price higher or the market higher. Ken says, what's happening to Moderna? Moderna is getting hit. And Pfizer just came out with news that they applied to the FDA to have the vaccine approved for everybody, whether you're young or whether you're older. And that whole industry is still getting beat up. Whether it's Pfizer, whether it's BioNTech, whether it's Moderna, whether it's Dynavax, whether it's Novavax, that whole industry is still getting beat up. So I look at that. I don't have a definitive answer as to what is going on in that industry. You would think that with the vaccine and more people getting vaccinated, that those stocks should be rocking and rolling. Now, I did do a Trending Thursday where I showed the other side of that space where they're making a ton of money. These companies are making a ton of money. Now, we're not paying for the vaccines, but these companies are selling the vaccines to the governments, whether it's in the United States or abroad. They're making a lot of money. So the bottom line for these companies is they're making money, but the stocks for the most part are not going up, and I don't have a definitive answer for you, Ken. All right, so MR Consulting, Mr. Consulting says, Happy Veterans Day. Thank you for that. I appreciate that. For everybody who does not know, I am a veteran. I am a United States Marine Corps veteran, and I appreciate that. 2 days in a row. Had the Marine Corps birthday yesterday and Veterans Day today. I appreciate that. All right, so this is what's going on in the market. Let's go see what news is affecting the market across the board. All right, so we do know that earnings is the way to go, that companies are still reporting earnings bigly, and that's a good thing. But here's still a mainstay in what's going on in the market as well. Inflation remains elevated. That is huge. That has been huge. It will remain huge. Inflation is a problem. Inflation is a problem. And your buddy Glenn was telling you all this time when the Fed was going through the year saying, oh, it's just transitory, which means it'll just pass by. And Glenn kept saying, nah, I don't think that that's the case, that inflation is an issue. Semper Fi, Glenn, I appreciate that, Ken. Sellify, Simplify, it all depends. I built a watch list of picks from another investing resource. I just ran a 12-month quick test, and the result was 1%, was within 1% of the SPX alone. User VectorVest 7. I'm at 71% for the same period. Holy smokes. Way to go, Roger. That is awesome. So you know what VectorVest is about. For those people who are not subscribers to the software, we we say that we want to provide the best stock market guidance available anywhere at any price. And Roger, that is awesome that you came up and said that compared to another source for looking at what's going on in the market, how with VectorVest you're doing so much better. I like that kind of comment because for anybody who's sitting on the fence deciding whether or not they want to be a subscriber to the software, listen to our VectorVest subscribers. All right, listen, right in the chat. Listen to our VectorVest subscribers. So I appreciate that. David says, Semper Fi, oorah, brother. Oorah to you, David. All right, so inflation remains elevated. Let's go here. Top Fed officials say continued high inflation would be problematic for the central bank. So what is already starting to happen? They're already starting to taper on bond buying, all right, which means that bond rates are going to increase to make it more applicable for people to go buy the bonds, all right, which will pull people out of the market. That's going to be step one. Step two, with inflation being as high as it is, the Fed is going to have to raise interest rates. I've been saying that they're going to raise interest rates quicker than they thought that they were going to have to because inflation was an issue. The Fed kept saying inflation wasn't a big issue and that it was transitory because we weren't at full max capacity for jobs. All right, and we're still not. And I think that I put out a poll a while ago stating, why do you think people are not going back to work? And I put out the poll, and a lot of people answered that people are looking for a better wage. All right, people are looking for a better wage. So now I say this. If the wages don't increase and you're looking for a better wage, how long is it going to be before you're going to have to say, forget this, I got to go back to work? I'm curious to know. What do you think? I'm curious to know. I don't know how long people can hold off without jobs waiting for higher wages. And another thing that people are not going back to work for is because they requested they want to work from home. And a lot of companies are saying, right now we don't need to work from home. There's a lot of dynamics going on with people going back to work. So I'm just curious on what you guys feel about that. Next one is household debt total passes $15 trillion for the first time. You know why? People are spending money on their credit cards. Student loans increased slightly while credit card balances nudged higher to reverse the pandemic era trend. I'm thinking that people, if they're not working, they're spending money on their credit card. But if you're not working, how do you pay the credit card bills? I'm just curious to know about that. How do you pay the credit card bills if you're using your credit card, right? Rising prices pushing up balances for mortgages and auto loans. Inflation is an issue. Inflation is an issue. All right, and what's my next story? Don't want to get to that yet. So those are my 3 stories on what's making the market move. Inflation is an issue. Jobs are still an issue. And the tapering is going to come in, raising the interest rates are going to come in. So what I want to tell you is that this market has been in a big uptrend since about 2016. Is it not time for the market to correct or to pull back or to go in a reset? However you want to set, the market's got to reset. It does. Markets can't go up forever. So those are the things that are still driving the market higher, but I want you to be prepared for the bad things that will happen that will pull the market down. Now, with that information, let's go back into the VectorVest software. We're going to go to the Viewers tab, and here's my watch list of the stocks that we're looking at today for 11/11/2021. All right, so I've got 22 stocks. I got a lot of stocks to look at because a lot of them were my stocks of interest. But when I look at analyzing the market, I look at 2 ETFs. If you're not a VectorVest subscriber, we're going to look at the S&P 500. But if you are a VectorVest subscriber, we're going to look at the VVC. For those of you who are not subscribers, that stands for the VectorVest Composite. The VectorVest Composite is an indexed arithmetic average of all of the stocks that we track, and we track over 9,000 stocks in the VectorVest system. In that, we're looking at all of those stocks in that one ticker symbol of the VVC, so we feel that it is a better representation of the broad market move. All right. Let's go take a look at them. Let's view the stock graph on those 2. So with all of that's going on, let's go put this on a 6-month graph. With all that's going on, here's the market moving up. Here's a pullback in the market that started back in early September. We pulled back, found a level of a support, and look at that. Now, this is why it was important that watching the market pull back right now wasn't a surprise. Why? Look at this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 days in a row, the market moved up. And you know something? This looks about right. Let me go put this on to the VectorVest layout. This looks about right. The market's pulling back after going up for 8 days in a row. So a little bit of a green day, but it's a closed candle, which means that the price right now is lower than it was from the open this morning. All right. And so that's where we are. The market's still elevated, a little bit of a sideways move for the last couple of days. Nothing to get into a big panic about. All right. Again, it's nothing that should have been a big surprise to you. Let's go down to, that was the VVC. Wow. Hold on. That was the S&P 500. Went up for 8 days in a row. And then we look at the VVC. Same scenario. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 days in a row. Pulled back, open candle on the VVC today, which means that the price is higher than the open. That's a good day for the market overall for the VVC. RT is back above 1, telling me that the market is in an uptrend. Sasi says SPX will hit 5,000 before we see any serious correction. All right, listen, I'm not going to predict that. It's sitting at this is not the SPX, is the SPY sitting at 464. And you know something, if it does, that's great. But I'm telling you to just be prepared of what's getting ready to happen in the market going into Q1. My prediction is beginning of Q2, mortgage defaults and bankruptcies increase. Ooh, John. I think Q1 is going to be very interesting as we come into the end of the year, because with the tapering and with the possibility of rising interest rates, companies will start reporting losses. It'll happen. But I'm looking for that Q1, definitely in Q2. We'll see. I'm thinking Q1, we're going to see a lot of buybacks to keep the bottom line in the black. That's what I think. All right. So those are the 2 indicators that I use for watching the market. Again, the market's moved up, just pulled back. It's gone up for 8 days in a row. Nothing to get super concerned about. And especially if we go back to the home page, our guidance is VectorVest still advocates buying safe undervalued stocks that are rising in price at this time. All right. Does anybody have any questions in regards to what's going on in the market right now? And something's happening on YouTube, Clay. A lot of people, we're just losing a ton of people. I don't understand what's happening over there. I don't know. I don't know what's happening, but I'm just bringing that to your attention. I don't know if you can see that, Clay, but as I'm looking at it, we got a lot of people that fell off on the YouTube channel and still falling. I don't know what that all means, so I'm assuming that you'll work on that, or if there's an issue. So you can answer in the room just to make sure that I know that you heard me. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, good. That's all. I just wanted. I don't know what that's all about, but we'll see. All right. What do you think of SoFi, says Caleb? Caleb, when I get towards the end of this presentation, I will give you guys an opportunity to look at your individual stocks. All right. So you says you're waiting for the other link. Oh, something happened on that side? All right. Could be. All right. Again, I got Clay in the background. He's working it out. All right. Let's get to my next story. Let's get to my next story. My next story is about, hold on, my next industry or my next sector is apparel, apparel stocks. Now, apparel stocks as a sector is up 30%, over the last 2 weeks. That's a trend, all right? That's something that's moving up, and that's why I wanted to look at it. But 30% over the last 2 weeks is big. So I wanted to look at what stocks were moving the retail apparel stocks. One of them happens to be Decker Outdoors. And look at this. Fresh Sonic and Grateful Dead collab delivers winter-ready cozy vibes. So Grateful Dead, or a member of Grateful Dead, is teaming up with Decker Outdoors. They announced the 5th iterations of its ongoing collaborations with iconic rock band The Grateful Dead, powered by Warner Music Artist Services. Just in time for winter, this new indoor-outdoor capsule for men and women keeps feet cozy. How cool is that? Look at the shoes. Look at the shoes. So Grateful Dead is, and you know something, so that's news driven, but we're going to take a look at the stock nonetheless. I think that this industry or this sector will rise going into the Christmas holidays. You know, people buy clothes. And I think that this sector is not rising by accident. All right? It's not rising by accident, and some publicity behind it. What else is going on in here? How about this? CROX. How many of you trade CROX? How many of you trade CROX or wear CROX? Type of one either way. If you either trade CROX or you wear CROX shoes, let me know. All right. And again, for everyone who's coming in asking for individual stocks, I will give you an opportunity to look at these stocks towards the end of the presentation. And now, Michael says, are you planning to update your infrastructure portfolio? Absolutely. Yes. I'm just thinking about a video on infrastructure next week, whether it's a midday parlay or a 6 p.m. video. That is on my radar. I've got some stocks for you guys to look at, so you definitely want to pay attention when that video comes out. I got some really good stocks for you to pay attention to, and they may be outside of the norm of what you think from an infrastructure perspective. All right, so definitely that will be a video next week, and we'll pay attention. So a lot of people are either trading or wearing CROX. All right, I hear you. So the story talks about why you need to add CROX to your portfolio. I'm going to tell you this. It's a good stock. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. I think the shoes are ugly. But it's a great stock. It's a great stock, and I think that it should be in your portfolio. But that's in that space. Another one, Columbia's Sportswear. They reported third quarter earnings. This was a few days ago, but it's in the space of the retail apparel. So I wanted to bring that up. And I've got one more. Is it here? Nope, not yet. Another one, SHOO, Steve Madden's shoes. That's another hot one in that space. So let's go back to the VectorVest software. Let's go check them out. So now, when I look at the stocks that are in my list today, 22 stocks, these are sorted by our master indicator. okay? VST, value, safety, and timing. The stocks that have the best combination of value, safety, and timing will automatically migrate to the top of the list. So when I'm looking at 22 stocks, it's just not a hodgepodge of stocks. It's stocks that are sorted by our master indicator, so you can get specific information right off the bat, which ones are the ones that are best in your portfolio and which ones are hurting your portfolio. Let's look at where CROX is. Out of 22 stocks, it's number 3. Decker Outdoors is number 4. SHOO is number 6, and Columbia is number 8. Out of the 22 stocks that we're looking at, this is why I'm in this space and showing you the stocks that are moving in this space. Remember, the sector has been up 30% over the last 2 weeks from a trending perspective. These are definitely stocks to keep your eyes on. All right, let's go take a look at their graphs. All right, let's go take a look at their graphs. 3-month graph, let's go put on my layout for swing trading. Where am I? Where I'm looking at a 20-period exponential moving average. I'm also looking at earnings and earnings growth. I'm also looking at sales and sales growth. Sales are pumping up, but the growth is not there yet. I think that that's definitely going to turn around as we get closer and closer to the Christmas season. CROX is just a good stock. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. It's pulling off the most recent high from 11.8. But look at that. What's it doing? Instead of really going down, it's channeling a little bit. Volume is pretty even, but look at the earnings per share. Remember, this is our forecasted earnings. So I'm saying that by this time next year, CROX should have an earnings of almost $8.50. Look at the earnings growth. The sales growth has fallen, but the sales are increasing, and I think that that's going to be an increase coming in closer and closer to Christmas season. Now, Decker Outdoor took a big hit right here. I don't know what news hit it, but you know why I still would have been bullish on the stock? Look at the earnings. Even as the stock's price fell, look at the earnings and the earnings growth rate. Earnings is the engine that drives the stock's price higher. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. So earnings growth, all in play. What did the stock's price do? It turned back around after it found a level of support, went back above the 20-day exponential moving average, just recently broke through a level of resistance of 396.45. I like this stock, and I think that coming into the Christmas season, being in one of the hottest moving sectors right now is a good play. SHOO, look at that. That looks even gooder than Decker Outdoors, doesn't it? Yeah. And we didn't get to Decker yet. It looks even better than CROX. Look at that move. Nice, steady move. A little bit of a sideways move on it right now, longer term, even from a swing trade perspective, currently above the 20-day exponential moving average. Look at that pickup of earnings. Let's put earnings on. Most recent earnings report happened on 11/3. The stock's price moved up for a couple of days, now leveling out. I do have a level of resistance sitting at 51.40. The next one is Columbia. Now, Columbia doesn't look as well or as good as the others. Another big hit. Found a level of the floor, but since earnings, which occurred on 10/28, stock's price moving higher. Look at the earnings, look at the earnings growth rate. I like it, and actually moving a little bit sideways now. I do have a level of resistance sitting at the high of 106.89. All right, so if I'm looking to get into any of these stocks, I like Decker. Decker's moving up. I got a price target sitting at about 451.49. It's not that far from where it is right now, running off of the coattails of positive earnings. I like that, and it's an up day. CROX is an up day, but I've got a level of resistance, so I like both of those. I like CROX, and I like Decker. When I look at SHOO, it's a down day. Even though I like the stock, I never want you to buy a stock on a down day. Same thing with Columbia. Both of those stocks are in a hot industry. I'd wait for better buying opportunity. Anybody, excuse me, anybody have, did I say gooder? I normally say gooder. Why? Because it makes you listen if I say gooder. Anybody got any questions on my apparel stocks? Again, this sector is up 30% in the last 2 weeks, and that's important when looking at trying to find trending stocks, all right? All right, if there's no questions, I'm going to get to my next story. Let's go back to this. Let's go to my next story, which is looking at the Amazon-backed EV RIVN. Man, oh man. And guess what, folks? I'm putting out a video tomorrow. I recorded it today. I'm putting out a video tomorrow that dives deeper into RIVN's IPO. And I looked at a couple of other stocks, and I think you're going to be super excited about a stock in this space that's got over 500 miles on a charge. All right, and if you don't know what that stock is, you definitely want to watch that video. I compared RIVN to Tesla to another company. I'm not going to tell you the other company. I put in, because that other company's got a 500-mile range on a charge. Man, are they going after Tesla bigly. So I said bigly to go along with gooder. You don't want to miss that video. That'll come out tomorrow at 6 p.m. talking about diving deeper into the RIVN IPO, all right? But 11.9 billion in a year's biggest IPO. That was big buzz behind it. This stock, being backed by Amazon, was looked at, waiting for the IPO to hit, and boy, it knocked it out the park as an IPO. It knocked it out the park as an IPO. And then again, RIVN stock races higher after soaring IPO debut. Stock jumped 20% to $121 on Thursday. That's today. All right, that's today. Following a 30% surge on its NASDAQ debut on Wednesday. Normally, I don't like to invest in IPOs. So there's a couple of things, you have to watch that video tomorrow. There's a couple of things that I need to see happen with RIVN before I jump on board. Yes, Miss Linda, is it Miss Linda Q? Yes, it is lucid. It is. Gregory said the same thing. But, man, you got to watch the video anyway. You got to watch the video anyway because I do a nice, deep analysis on all three vehicles. All right, Lucid says, I know. And Ninja, you watch the video. Stop talking about it in here. Watch the video tomorrow. Stop it. I'm going to put all of you in timeout. I'm putting all of you in timeout. How long does it how long does it take fully charge? Charles, watch the video. Watch the video. I've got specs on all three vehicles. Watch the video tomorrow. I've got specs on all three vehicles. All right, here's another, and here it is, Lucid. 3 electric vehicles that have soared more than 13% in November. And these are the stocks that I'm going to look at today. Lucid, Volcon, and Fisker. These are stocks that are in that space that are starting to move. Now, you know what makes me happy about Lucid is that it's been around for a minute, but they weren't selling any cars. Once they started selling cars, the company started running up. I need to see them to consistently sell cars. I like that stock. We're going to talk about it a little bit. I like that stock, but I've got to make sure that it's making money. All right, so let's get into those stocks. And I'm going to show you something real quick. After I look at the stocks, I want to show you just how much they're moving. So Fisker, look at where it falls in my 22 stocks with a VST above 1. Lucid, VST above 1. Now, you always know I like to always introduce you to ETFs if I can to take advantage of a whole space if you don't want to lock in to a specific stock. So cars is my ETF for the whole electric vehicle space. What else is in here? There's RIVN, and then here's Volcon. Both of these, now RIVN, I can understand why it's got a VST below 1. It's not a lot of data on it for the VectorVest service to really truly analyze it, which is why before I would think about buying it, I want to make sure that the company's got the chops to keep moving on. Remember, it's backed by Amazon and it's backed by another company that you may not know about, excuse me, which is another reason, why you've got to watch the video tomorrow. All right. What's the ETF for the retail sector? Ghislaine. I did not look for one, but I probably, the next time we're here, I might have to get you one. I don't know, unless somebody in the room knows an ETF for the retail sector. Yeah, Jonathan, you put it out there. Y'all need to watch the video tomorrow. All right, but they are another backer to the RIVN car. And now Volcon, on the other hand, I don't know much about it. Way overvalued, but it's in that space and it's in that article. Let's go take a look at the stocks. Let's go take a look at what they look like. Fisker. I like Fisker. I watched the earnings per share on Fisker. Fisker's been a stock that's been around for a little bit. I've had my eye on it. I like the most recent move above the 20-period exponential moving average. Look at the little pullback today, but beautiful open candle. This was not an earnings play. Earnings hit on 11.3, but since then, the stock's price is definitely moving higher. I'd like to know more about the between the USA and China over quantum what the flying flip is that, Ken? What computational? What is that? What is that? So if I can't even say the word, I don't think I'm putting out a video on that. Good googly muggly. Quantum computational? What is that? I got to probably look into that. I'm not sure what that is. So even with all of that being said, watch the earnings per share on Fisker. Watch the earnings growth on Fisker. I think it's being pulled up because the industry or the sector is moving. All right. So, computer war. I don't know I haven't seen it. It hasn't hit my radar as a fight between U.S. and China over computer. Listen, I got to find news on it first. Before I can start flapping my jibs about it. Believe you me, if I don't have news on it, I'm not going to talk about it. All right? So quantum computers is coming up in a second. Quantum computers is coming up in a second. All right. So that's Fisker. Next one is Lucid. Again, I think, you know how much the cars are? The cars are coming out of the gate about $77,000. I've looked at pictures of it. I've looked at the specs on it. I like this car. And finally, they're starting to sell the cars. And since they started doing so, the stock's price has moved up. Volume is okay. Earnings is negative. Now, why is earnings negative? They weren't selling anything. Look at the sales and look at this. They weren't selling anything. Now that they are, that data will come in. And I think that will definitely change earnings from negative to positive. It'll take a little bit of time to happen, but the stock's price is moving up. The next one is cars. This is the ETF that covers the whole space. And you want to know, I like this from the purposes of, even if I'm picking an individual EV, I like to look at this graph to see when it starts to move. And then if I have a favorite EV company that I like, then I could start looking at getting in. Does that make sense to everybody? Does that make sense to everybody that, looking at an ETF is a good way to time getting into your individual stock in that space? Type of 1, if you agree with that. Type of 2, if you don't care. All right. This is good tidbit of information. Would that have been a good entry into any of those EVs? For the most part, the answer to that is yes. All right, so I think cars, both ETFs cover auto sector, but this is specifically the other cars. I'm not sure if that covers the electric, and if it does, then I'll put that along with this as well. But this is specifically for electric cars. Miss Linda Q says 3. I didn't give 3 as a choice. Sigh. I didn't give 3 as a choice. I said either 1 or 2. So maybe it made sense, but it didn't. I don't know. All right. But look at the volume on that. Look at that today. Nice gap up. Look at the volume. People are definitely jumping on this. 1, great idea. Never thought of it that way before, says Rebecca. I can do that with any ETF that covers a space. That can help me to time when I want to get into my favorite stock in that space. Cars covers both with Tesla and as its largest holding. So a shock. I will add that. All right, what else is in here? RIVN, again, not a lot of information on it. It just kicked off yesterday. Look at a lot of give back. And this is why I don't like IPOs, because a lot of people get in early, make a lot of money, and then people get holding the bag. Now, if you got into it yesterday, it did bump up today. You're still fine. Just keep your eyes on the stock for the next few days, probably for the next month or so, to see if the stock, and I probably will do an update video after the video comes out tomorrow. I will keep my eyes on that. If there's new news comes out, I will be doing that. All right, I will be taking a look at that stock. And the last one is Volcon. Now, I don't know a lot about this stock, but the space is pulling this stock's price higher, but it's down for 4 days in a row, currently still above the 20-day exponential moving average. Earnings is falling. I didn't have an earnings play on it. Earnings is falling. We just recently started tracking this stock. All right, so that's where we stand right now. The stock overall, though, is still bottom left, top right, but pulling back. This is the one that's a little bit more riskier by way of the stock. Now, I got a question about NEO. I want to show you something. I've got a watch list for you guys. It's specifically for YouTube called, where is it at? Where's that watch list? There it is. Clean energy EV car manufacturers. Just the manufacturers. So someone asked me about NEO. So I'm going to show you something. I'm going to take this back 2 weeks. So we know that the industry or the sector has been running, right? I'm going to go back over the last 2 weeks. I'm going to do a quick test. So here's NEO is in here, GoEv, Nikola, all of my manufacturers of electric cars. All right, all of my manufacturers of electric car. Tesla is at the top of the list. I'm going to do a quick test of all 23 of these stocks. I'm going to sort this by percentage price change. Why did I look at Fisker? Because look at that, it's up 34%. Why am I looking at Lucid? Why? Because it's up 26%. Someone's asking me about NEO. NEO is up only 3%. How many of you have heard of Vicinity Motors? Type of one in the room. How many of you have heard of Vicinity Motors? And a lot of people are saying NEO is the Chinese Tesla. You do realize what just happened with NEO. They missed earnings. Why? Because they fell short on their delivery expectations. So everybody has always been touting that NEO is the next Tesla or it's the Tesla for China. I still like the company, but what's the main thing when looking at these cars is being able to supply the product to the people. And NEO fell short. The stock's price is still up over 3%. Still up over 3%. But these are the movers. Fisker, Lucid, Nikola, Ford, GM. These are definitely on the American side going after Tesla. And just to get a feel of overall in the space, which cars, look at this, Tesla is down over the last 2 weeks, about 0.7%. All right, so I'm just putting that out there for whoever asked me for NEO. Why isn't it one of my main stories today? Because I wanted to look at the companies that were really rocking and rolling to bring that to your attention. Who asked me that? Steven, does that make sense to you? NEO is building a factory for 1 million car production by September 22. Fine. That's fine. That's news. Now, what is it doing? That's the next question. What is it doing? So let's do this. I showed you my other cars, right? Let's go look at NEO. What is it doing? All right, so now, Steve, I'm with you. It is news-driven. But over the last 3 months, where is it? It's trading lower than it was 3 months ago. So the news is there. Don't get me wrong. I like the earnings. I don't like the earnings growth. I like the earnings. The news is there. But this is all about Janet Jackson. What have you done for me lately? I do like that it's above the 20-year exponential moving average, but if I had a choice between buying NEO or Fisker or Lucid or something like that, where would I put my money right now? Does that make sense, Stephen? I hear the news, but if I'm looking at right now, where would I rather put my money? Let's go back to this. Let's go look at Fisker. Let's go look at Lucid. We looked at those, right? Let's go look at NEO again. Let's right click. Let's view the stock graph. If I had a choice between where I want, Fisker, I like that. Institutions are loading up. This is all about manipulation. Listen, I'm not talking about manipulation. I'm talking about analysis. There's a difference. Fisker, look at that move. I'm looking at Lucid, look at that move. And then when I come down to NEO, now I ask the question, where would you want to put your money? Now, you say Lucid is overpumped. Listen, I'm not going to agree with that, especially if they're finally putting out cars. Especially if they're finally putting out cars, man. That's what it's all about. You can think that it's pumped up. You can think all of that. I'm looking at the analysis, and then I'm looking at what's driving the analysis. They're selling cars. They're selling darn good cars. All right, so I don't call it pumped up. That's me personally. And Lucid has, Stephen. Lucid has actually got them. They've produced. They are selling. All right, is somebody telling me that I'm wrong on that? Somebody telling me I'm wrong on that? They started selling the cars. All right, so that's the big news that started pushing them, Stephen, is that they were actually selling the cars. It was out there for the longest time where they weren't. But once they started selling the cars, the stock's price started moving up. So I'm not calling that pump just at this particular point in time. All right, that's just me. All right. Let's stay here. Let's go to my next story. Oh, quantum. So y'all were asking me about quantum computing. Look at this. NVIDIA is a stock that we all know. It's a stock that's been rocking and rolling. Quantum computing simulation record set by NVIDIA. NVIDIA has this week set a world record for quantum computing simulation with QQuantum running on that thing. The new SDK running on NVIDIA's Selene supercomputer was able to simulate 8 times more qubits than previously recorded on a key test in quantum computing. You wanted to know more about it? NVIDIA is in that space and kicking butt and taking names. Good, googly muggly. All right. Now, when I'm looking at a stock in this space, this is in the electronics sector. The electronics sector is up 14% in the last 2 weeks. 14% in the last 2 weeks. All right. So, and Drew is right. There you go. Drew says Lucid started delivering cars to customers on 10/30/2021. I'm telling you, man, I don't think that Lucid is pumped up. I think that what's going to keep out, the only thing that's going to tell me if Lucid still has legs is if they can continue to produce cars. And if NIO is making a factory to do so, they're making it. It ain't ready yet. So just think about that. I think that NIO is still a good stock, but if I had a choice between where I would want to put my money now, that's why I took you through what I took you through. All right, hopefully everybody totally understood that. All right. So quantum computing, NVIDIA is in that space. Here's why momentum investors will love Wired. This is another stock that's been kicking butt and taking names. We're going to take a look at that stock. That's in this space. I don't want that one yet. So in the electronic space, I've got NVIDIA, I've got Wired, and I've got one other stock that's moving in that space called AEHR. So let's go to the list. Let's go see where these all sit. Let's go with NVIDIA. Ooh. Oh, I'm in the wrong group now. It's like, where's NVIDIA not in here? Let's go to 11/11/2021. All right, let's go see Wire. That's in there. That's number one, and this is the electronic sector. That's number one in our list of 22. Did I take out a stock? How did I do that? I thought I had 22 stocks. Oh, well, it's number one in my whole list. What else is up here? Wire, NVIDIA. Where's NVIDIA? Where's NVIDIA? There it is. It's number 3. And AEHR is in this space, but it's been rocking and rolling. Look, it's up 13. Let's stream this. Let's stream this as of today. We're back a couple of weeks. Let's do that. Wire still number 1. Let's go down the list. There's AEHR. And then I'm also looking for NVIDIA number 2. Number 1 and 2 in the list in this space. Again, it's a sector that's up 14% in the last 2 weeks. Let's right click. Let's view the stock graph. Wow, look at that. That's taking off like an airplane. Good gravy. In a hot sector, a beautiful looking equity curve. Earnings per share growing, earnings growth going. Sales are going up, sales growth not as much. And the volume is pretty steady. I don't have a lot of trading day today, so I've got an update on lighter volume than normal. But look at that equity curve. Let's go. Why did it only just do that stock? That stunk. NVIDIA and AEHR. There we go. Let's try this again. View the stock graph. So there's the first one. Let's go to NVIDIA. Another one. Looks really good. Pulling back a little bit, But bottom left, top right, rising earnings, growth rate. And again, getting into that quantum space and setting a new record. Now, I'm wondering if that quantum space is also equating over to the metaverse. I think it might have something to do with that as well. My call and wire more than doubled. And again, this is why we're looking at it, a shock, because it's in that hot space. AEHR. Now, there was no news on it. But look at that equity curve. Is the train left the station? I think you still have opportunity to get on. Look at the sales and the sales growth on this, earnings and earnings growth on this. Stock has been above the 20-day exponential moving average all of this time. I like it. I like the stock. I cannot lie. Absolutely. I think it's got still some good opportunity. Just make sure that the stock is rising before you pull the trigger on it. NVIDIA does not do quantum. They did. Quantum has nothing to do with Meta. That was just a thought on my part. If it had anything to do with the metaverse. I don't know. I don't know enough about it. I just put it out there if this whole quantum thing is good. And you said NVIDIA does not do quantum. What is then? You telling me that the story was incorrect? NVIDIA had something to do in regards to utilizing their chips, utilizing their technology, utilizing their hardware for that whole quantum thing. And NVIDIA did a test simulating a quantum computer. Okay. I got you. All right, I got you. All right. And thank you for that. You hold me accountable. I read it incorrectly. Hold me accountable. But nonetheless, the power of what they could do from simulating that quantum shows the power behind the software. All right, shows the power behind the software, or shows the power behind what they do. Is that not correct? All right, just to make sure. All right, let me close out of that. Anybody have any other questions in regards to my stocks on the electronic space? Anybody? Hey, NVIDIA is not quantum computing. Again, so I got that. EV battery ETF, they are still crushing their space. I agree with you, Miss Linda Q. Is that Miss Linda Q? Is that how you say that? EV battery ETF, I don't have one. I need to write this down. So retail ETF, and what did you just say? Battery. What did you just put? EV battery ETF. EV battery ETF. The only thing I got close to that is ICLN, which looks at the whole clean energy space. Is there any search or alert that would alert an investor when the stochastics oscillator turns north? Yes, we do have a thing called the watchdog, where we can look at either MACD. New. It's either MACD or support and resistance. So not on stochastics. I had to think about it. I've got a MACD, so I could find all of the stocks in the system where the MACD just crossed positive, or if a stock crossed above support or resistance, I could do that, but not on stochastics. All right, so the closest I can get would be MACD. All right, NVIDIA is collaborating with Google Quantum AI, IBM, and there's others to take quantum computing to the next level. So NVIDIA is in that quantum space. Even though they're not doing the quantum itself, they are in the quantum space, and I still thank Ms. Linda Q in regards to making sure I did it right. Do we have a special watch list or unit search for electric cars and VectorVest? No. I created that for you, Sasi. I created that for the YouTube channel. All right, so we don't have it in the VectorVest software, but I've created watch lists that we've turned over into watch lists into the VectorVest system for everybody. But that is one of the watch lists that I have for you guys here on YouTube. All right, let's get into my next story. My next story starts to go into all of my stocks of interest. I've got a few stocks that hit my radar this week that I wanted to bring to your attention. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 stocks in that space on stocks of interest. AstraZeneca, to set up a division for vaccines and antibody therapies. Now, AstraZeneca, AZN, is still not authorized even on the emergency use here in the United States. The only ones we have is Pfizer and BioNTech, which is FDA approved. We have Moderna, which is set up for emergency use. We had Johnson & Johnson, which was set up for emergency use, but they stopped it because of the blood clots. Nobody else is out there for emergency use yet. AstraZeneca was going to be my next stock that I was thinking about, but it is not applied for EAU, emergency use authorization in the United States right now. So I'm putting that out there. If the video is blurry, you can, Clay, can you type in the room what they need to do? This you can it's in your settings where you can change the resolution to make it better. Clay hopefully will type that into the room for you. Suggestion: Watch Dogs should send an alert with a what? And you know something, a shock, if there's something like that you think we should do, you can send it in as a product improvement request, and our development team will take a look at that. All right, we'll take a look at that. So that's AstraZeneca. That hit my radar this week. Here's another one. American Airlines flies 40,000 passengers to the U.S. and prepares for more since the borders are opened up. That's going to be big. Or is it time for airline stocks to take off, or cruise ships to take off and all that kind of thing? We could be getting ready for that if the ban on international travelers has been lifted. So we're going to take a look at an ETF for that as well. Clay, you got the mouse? Hold on. I need it. There we go. Let's get to my next story. Infrastructure stocks rally after Biden infrastructure plan passes. I got an ETF for you as far as this is concerned as well. And again, I think next week I will be doing an infrastructure video. Oil. Oil hits 7-year highs. U.S. reopens international travel. Planes are going to start to be using fuel again, right? Because they're going to be flying more people. That's going to happen. So I'm keeping all of that in mind as I look at oil. And OPEC still has their finger on the pulse, and they're the ones that are controlling the price right now. So, man, it's kind of poopy. It's kind of poopy. But it is what it is, and everybody knows that I've got two vehicles. I drive a Ford Excursion, which is a 40-gallon tank, and then I also drive my little 4-cylinder with a turbo Volkswagen Passat, which I love. I love my Passat. That thing gets up and goes. It's a 4-cylinder. It's a 4-cylinder, and I can get up and go in that. My next story. Hive blockchain has been moving. That's in the crypto space. Cryptos have been moving. You look at the miners like Riot, you look at Mara, you look at Hut, and here's another one, Hive. It's been moving as well. We're going to take a look at it. That caught my attention. Tesla. Now, that's big news that and Elon Musk finally did it. He sold nearly $5 billion of Tesla stock to foot the tax bill. He was saying that he was going to do it earlier in the week. Looks like this hit yesterday that he does sell nearly $5 billion of Tesla stock to foot his tax bill. Glenn, start watching casinos. My watch list has started moving finally. I will keep my eyes on that. That could be a possible story to do. Because why? If people are starting to travel, man, Vegas is going to get hopping, ain't it? Good call on that, Roger. Good call on that. And PAVE is the stock I'm going to look at. But Vegas, you know what else is starting to move? And I picked up a couple of them. I picked up a couple of gaming stocks, gambling stocks. That's something that's moving right now, too. So I picked up a couple of them. I don't even remember the names of them. Hold on a second. Let me see if I can get that for you. I picked up a gaming stock called, not EasyPW. Where is it? Did I get out of it already? Man. Oh, EGLX. I got into that gaming stock today. Stock was up about 20%. By the time I'm looking at it now, it's up 26%. I made a little bit of money on it, but I saw that gaming stocks were moving. That's just me giving you some insight into a stock that I do have. Gaming stocks are starting to move. Gaming stocks are starting to move, so something to keep your eye on. So this was newsworthy because he did. I wanted to find out if and when he did it, and he did it. Another one I got here, Cathie Woods. How many of you have seen my videos on Palantir? Type a 1 in the room. How many of you have seen my videos on Palantir? Type a 1 in the room. If you haven't seen any of my videos on Palantir, type a 2 in the room. Type a 2 in the room. But if you have, type a 1. I'm a big believer in Palantir. I like the stock. I like the contracts that it picks up. I like what they do. They take data, all kinds of data for your space, and puts it into useful information, and you pay for that on their platform. And, a lot of people are saying, well, they lost an ICE contract, but I saw a story that they might be renegotiating the ICE contract, but they continue to pick up more and more contracts. More and more people believe in what they're doing. I like Palantir, folks. Palantir is a good stock. And Cathie Woods ARK Invest buys over 1.2 million shares of Palantir. More shares. All right. So a lot of people, Cathie Wood is sort of like E.F. Hutton. How many of you remember E.F. Hutton? Type of me in the room. How many of you remember E.F. Hutton? And the tagline was, when E.F. Hutton talks, everyone listens. And I think a lot of people are doing that with Cathie Woods. I have never done a story dealing with Cathie Woods yet, but knowing that a lot of people listen to her, they pick up Palantir. I think that that's an added bonus to that stock. And the last one is the metaverse. There's an ETF called Meta, META. For any of you who are looking to get into the metaverse, here's another ETF for you. You know me, I like being diversified in an ETF. It's less riskier way to play a space. Now, it's not going to give you as much as bang for the buck as an individual stock. It won't do it. But an ETF is a great way to play a space without opening up a lot of risk. All right. Other stocks that are in this space, Facebook, NVIDIA. NVIDIA is in the space under metaverse. Maybe not the quantum, but under metaverse. And here's an ETF, Round Hill Investments, for those of you who did not know. How many of you knew about this Meta ETF? Type a 1 in the room. If you did not know about this Meta ETF, type a 2 in the room. All right, I'm just curious to know. How many buying Meta below 1590? I'm definitely gonna keep my eye on this stock, because if the metaverse is getting ready to take off, this may be a great spot to be. This may be a great spot to be to take advantage of that space. For those people who are saying no, that you did not know about it, now you do. And if you're not subscribers to the channel, by all means, folks, hit that subscribe button. This is the kind of information that you get at Trending Thursday, folks. This is what it's all about. What's trending, and bringing those stocks or ETFs to your attention that you may not have known about. So for all of you who are sitting here and you're like, man, I didn't know about that, and you're not a subscriber to the channel, by all means, do it. Is the meme Meta a problem for Facebook? I don't know. Is the name Meta? I don't know. I know that Facebook is changing their name to Meta. This is I don't have an idea. I don't know. Check that pullback level. I'll take a look at it. How to find out YouTube prize winners email you guys received it. How to find out. If you ever win, we'll tell you in the room that you won. All right? If you ever win something here, we'll tell you, and then we'll tell you to send an email to us so that you can claim it. All right? So those are my stocks of interest. Let's go open up the software again. All right, and let's go take a look at these stocks. Where do they sit? There's my AstraZeneca stock. That's for oil. USO is for oil. There's the Meta play. And for the infrastructure, there's PAVE. That is by far one of the best stocks to take advantage of the infrastructure space. All right. Every week, as I mentioned, I always like to introduce you to ETFs to take advantage of a whole space with a lot less risk. But there it is. PAVE is there. For the travel, here's an ETF for the travel planes, jets. Hive was in that list of stocks as a Hive blockchain. and Palantir. So I had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 stocks were my stocks of interest. Look at where Palantir sits. So even though I like Palantir as much as I do, I've said on more than one occasion that Palantir hasn't put its big boy pants on. It still has to prove itself, but I like the concept behind what they do. I love the concept behind what they do. And my stocks of interest, for the most part, are towards the bottom half of my list of 22 stocks. All right, so these are more speculative plays, but I like what they're doing, and these could be good early opportunities to get in. Let's go right-click. Let's view the stock graph. Let's go take a look. So let's start with AstraZeneca. AstraZeneca is moving to do more with the COVID vaccine above the 20-day exponential moving average, but moving sideways. Just be careful with that. USO, oil is on the rise. Now, with oil being on the rise, here it is, but right now it's in a little bit of consolidation. And, you know, I think the last story that we had on oil, the last count of how many barrels, I think we keep finding barrels and then we losing barrels. So right now, oil is rising but sitting in a channel. Oil is sitting in a channel, so just keep your eyes on that. The story on the Meta, here's the ETF. You said watch the pullback down to about 1590. Is that here? Let's go take a look. What's that price right there? 1375. What's my price right here? About 1495. I do have a solid level of support sitting at 1495. It's pulled back a little bit. You know, I'd look for a couple of things. If you think that this stock is going to fall, I'd look to see for the break below the 20-day exponential moving average and see if it could bounce off this level of support. I don't own this right now. I do like the move. I think Meta is, the whole metaverse is gaining some traction. We'll keep our eyes on it, but this is a good way to play the space. Let's go to the next stock, PAVE, infrastructure. I like this stock a lot. This is a great way to play that space in one ETF. All right, so kind of high, but I like it, says Global. I got you. Yes, Meta was a problem for Facebook, so they had to get around that by calling their new name Meta Platforms. Thank you, Ashok. All right, so now I guess Meta Platforms as compared to the Meta ETF. Infrastructure low expense with 1.6 DY. Listen, I think that, and the president still hasn't signed the bill yet, right? Can anybody back me up on that? It's sitting there. I don't know if what he's waiting for, if he's waiting or whatever. I thought that it was sent to the president. He didn't sign it yet. I don't think he signed it yet. Meta calls are grossly overpriced today, says Roger. All right, listen, you know, I'm not looking at any options in here. I'm just looking at the data. Right? All right, so I do like PAVE. I like it above that level of 29.26. I'd go 12 cents higher than the high, but look at that, above the 20-day exponential moving average nicely. Now, Jets. Now, as we start to open up the borders, they haven't taken off yet. They haven't taken off yet. Look at that. It's got a level of resistance at 25.02. So the news is there, but the stock is not responding. So now let's do this. Let's go to UAL. That's United Airlines. Let's go to AAL. No, what is it? American. What's American Airlines? American Airlines. American AAL. All right, let's go take a look at those two stocks. So we looked at the whole ETF, but here's United Airlines. All right. I like the rising earnings and earnings growth, but still not taken off yet. And American Airlines still haven't taken off yet, which is why when I look at Jets, here it goes again. As I look at Jets, I would look at the ETF. As a way to time when I want to get into United Airlines or American Airlines. Does that make sense to everybody in here? Type a yes or a no. Does that make sense to everybody in here? I like the idea that if I can find an ETF for the space, I time the move on my individual stock on that. And look at that. It's pulling back. I'm not ready to pull the trigger on the individual stocks. And I'm not ready to pull the trigger on the ETF right now. I'm not ready to do that as well. Glenn, marijuana stocks are not the worst industry. They moved up 1 point to 221. Yeah. I've been watching some marijuana stocks move. I'm not ready to play that space yet. I'm not willing to play that space just because a couple of stocks move. I want to see a move on the industry. I want to see a move on the industry before I pull the trigger. And there's an ETF for it as well, MJ, to play the whole space. And I would do the same thing, John. All right, I would. Who just said about the 221? That was you, John. I would look at the MJ ETF on a graph like this. Let's do that. I would look at MJ. Let's scroll all the way down. I would look at MJ to time. Look at that. It may be getting time to go play into the marijuana stocks. Let's see if it can keep moving up. All right. Airlines having issues with employees coming back to work. So how are they going to accommodate bigger travel if they have problems with staff? I'm in the MJ and sold puts way under the price. I like this idea of helping me to time when to get into marijuana stocks. I have an MJ and it has sucked. Rebecca, you see why? You see that? That's just a typical graph that I got right here. This is looking at a 20-day exponential moving average along with volume. That'll help you to play it at the right time. That'll help you to play it. Does that make sense, Rebecca? That'll help you play at the right time. All right. Did I look at everything? No, I didn't. Hold on. Did I not look at these stocks? I don't remember. Man, I'm a little slow. There's the AstraZeneca. I did look at these stocks, didn't I? USO. There's the Meta. There's the Pave. There's the Jets. Oh, we didn't finish. Here's Hive. This stock has been on the move, but look at that pullback and look at the pickup in volume. So this is conviction behind the selling in Hive. It may have made the news, but look at it pull back to that 20-day exponential moving average. Ooh-wee. You got to research MSOS. MSOS. I'll take a look at it. Thank you for the ideas, folks. Again, all of you will help me out in getting videos that you guys want to see. That's what it's all about, right? Next one is Palantir. Again, this is a tough. I got a price target of $31 on it. The stock is broken down. Was this an earnings play? Yeah, it was earnings. That was an earnings play right there. But look at the earnings per share. Look at the earnings growth. It's there. It's just got to come. It's just got to grow into it. It's got to grow into it. They keep getting the contracts. I like the stock. I'm not telling you to buy it now, but I'm definitely telling you to keep your eye on it and think about it. Cathie Wood's picked up a lot. That might help push the stock's price higher as well. All right. Those are all my stocks today. We're going to do one last thing. We're going to go take a look at your stocks. I don't want you to forget, real quick, remember on Tuesdays and Wednesdays, I need you to support Patrick for the Trading for Charity. Please remember to do that. All right? Please remember to do that. He's doing a great job. He's raised a lot of money. You guys, if you really want to help underprivileged children, you have an opportunity. All it takes is for you to become a subscriber to the channel. You automatically donate by becoming a subscriber. If you want to invest your own money, you can use the super chat to do that. But it's every Tuesday and Wednesday starting at 11:30. All right, let's go SoFi, GDX, Bros, Wire. Wire's still a buy. I just looked at it, Stephanie. I like Wire. I do like Wire. When I looked at the graph, I still like what I saw on Wire as well. GNRC, a weed stock. Again, I'm not ready to pull the trigger on weed. I would just give it a little bit more time before I pull the trigger. I need some more confirmation before I pull the trigger on weed stocks right now. FCX, copper play. MTZ, GDX for miners, for gold. GDX is already in the list. I already put that in there. See, you can't give it to me again. AMBA, Goose. I did something on Goose on Monday in midday market. CBRE. All right. Any stock that I did not put You can always go to www.vectorvest.com/free to get a free stock analysis report. All of the stocks that you gave me today are going up with the exception of RSG. The stock that has the best combination of value, safety, and timing is SIA. Bros is at the bottom. Doesn't mean that it's a bad stock. All of the stocks that you gave me have a VST above 1. All of them have good growth and earnings as well. Let's go take a look at the graph. So everyone who gave me a stock that I put in, you can now see where your stock sits amongst the list of 13 stocks. All right. AITX, I want that stock because I did a video on it. That's a low dollar stock, but I got some good upside on that, I think. And CVLG, I'll put that in A, B, C, L, comma, and T, Q, Q, Q. All right. So now I've got not 13 stocks, but now I've got 17 stocks. Now AITX is at the bottom. It's a really low dollar stock. If you didn't watch, I just put out a video. AITX was one of the stocks. It was 3 stocks with high potential. If you haven't watched that video on YouTube, please do that. Please do that. Thank you, Global. Global says, I was late today, but happy Veterans Day to you and all the veterans. Thank you for your service. I appreciate that. And I want to pass that on to you as well. To all the people out there who are veterans, happy Veterans Day to you as well. All right, let's go look at these. We're going to go through these pretty quickly. I'm a little bit long-winded today. SIA, transportation truck. Transportation has still been moving as hopefully we start getting past COVID-19 and the Delta variant. I'm one of the spots that I'm in transportation ship, looking at CTRM. I've done a lot of videos on that. Personally, I own that as well. But transportation truck, transportation ship, transportation air, as the world starts to open back up again, even if it's on a small phase, people need goods. And these are the ways that people get to their goods. All right. So I like the space. Stock is moving from the bottom left to the top right, pulling back as the market's pulling back a little bit. Rising earnings growth. I still like it. I would wait to see if it could take out that high before I pull the trigger. Man, Boot looks good. Boot Barn. Man, oh man, that's a nice airplane looking. That's in retail apparel. That's one of the stocks, one of the industries. That was my fastest moving industry over the last 2 weeks, right? Actually, yeah, 30%. 30% in the last 2 weeks. Boot Barn looks good. Right now, it's consolidating. I'd like to see it take out the high, but clearly above the 20-day exponential moving average. Volume is pretty okay. Light volume today on the open candle, but I like that stock. Next one. Wow, AMBA. Electronic semiconductor along with AMD, along with NVIDIA, those semiconductor stocks. I also put you on to one on Monday, TSEM. Not TSM, not Taiwan Semi, but TSEM. That's another stock in this space. That's a semiconductor that's moving. But man, oh man, that one is moving up nicely. Earnings growth looks good. I like the stock. How about it's bouncing right off the 20-day exponential moving average? How about it's been used as a trend line all this time as well? All right, so just think about it from that perspective. CVLG looked good. Was that an earnings play? Yep, earnings came in on CVLG, but since then, look at that trend line that I have on this graph. Stock is trending higher from that low, from that candle after earnings. I do like the stock right now. I'd like to see it break above this level of resistance of $29.71. It's right now 1 cent higher than that. The stock does have upside to the value of $34.75, which is where it catches its next headwinds. All right. But I like it. The stock is moving higher. I like the earnings per share. I like the earnings growth. Next one, FCX. Copper has been a hot play as well. Out of the commodities or the precious metals, copper has been the bigger mover, more so than gold or silver. Nice big update today on beautiful volume. I don't know if there's any news on copper, but nice update. Broke through a level of resistance on good volume. There was conviction behind the move. Earnings and earnings growth rate will look good as well. I like that. CBRE is pulling back, but still above the 20-day exponential moving average. Rising earnings growth. Still higher than it was 3 months ago. Earnings play kicked in. It muddled around a little bit before it went up. A little bit of a shooting star pattern right there with some follow-through. Shooting star again with some follow-through. But it's above the 20-day. If you own it, I would, off the end of day, I'd look at wait before it breaks below the 20-day exponential moving average. Now, GNRC, Generac is a great company. They've got a great host of products. It's got a great company model, but it just keeps getting hit. And currently below the 20-day exponential moving average. I'd like to see it do two things: go above the 20-day and break above this level of resistance of 458.02. Earnings looks good. Earnings growth is just solid and sitting there. It's at 33%. Hasn't grown. It's just sitting there. But I'd like to see those two things happen. I do have an upside profit of about 524. Into about 524. And I'm not looking at the do today, Parry. If you're a subscriber, we talk about that every night. EVGO, good, googly muggly. That's taking off like nobody's business. All right. Now, the only thing that scares me about it is that it's a parabolic move. Had earnings yesterday, nice big move up, but rolling parabolic. Be careful with that on big volume. Earnings growth, just be careful. If you're in it, good. If you're not, wait until it goes 12 cents higher or 5 cents higher than that high right there. And if you are in it, don't be afraid to take some profits off the table, okay? Next one is MTZ. I'm not feeling this. Earnings hit, it jumped up, shooting star, followed through. I've got a level currently of resistance sitting at 96.01. I'm not a big fan of it right now. With a lot of the different stocks that we've looked at, this is not one of my favorites. All right, this is not one of my favorites. I'm just putting that out there. All right, I'm just giving you the analysis. TQQQ, as the market goes up, this goes up. As the market falls, it falls. It's still currently above the 20-day exponential moving average, which gives me pause that the market is still bullish, but you still need to be cautious at this particular point in time. GDX. Commodities moving up, a little bit of a doji cross right there, a little bit of indecision. It is above the 20-day exponential moving average. I'd wait to see if it can go higher than the high. It is higher than it was 3 months ago, but there's a little bit more volatility incurred in playing this stock. All right, there's a little bit more volatility incurred playing this stock, and I do see this. How about connecting the lows? It is in an uptrend. All right, let me make that a little darker for you. It is in an uptrend. None the least. If you own it, you're fine. If you don't, I'd wait to see if it could take out the high. We're hitting at right above average volume. So even on that move today, where there's not a lot of change in price, the volume is there. Oh, man, RSG is moving sideways. That's no other way to look at it. It's just moving sideways. It gapped up. It never faded the gap to the downside on an end-of-day basis. Horizontal line, look at that. That gap line where it gapped up served as a beautiful level of support, sitting at 131.99. Stocks price is consolidating. I'd like to see the stocks price move up. Earnings and earnings growth rate is moving up as well. Now, Goose, was that an earnings place? Yep, there it is. I thought so. I did a Monday. I did a midday on Monday about it. It moved, and you know, something is still higher than what it was when it hit earnings. A little bit of a couple of days of consolidation. Earnings looks good. Earnings growth looks good. Sales growth. I like it. It is another. This is in the Canadian side. It's trading on our side, but again, apparel clothing. And my other one was apparel stocks as well. So hot sector. SoFi earnings yesterday. Bounced up today, but watch the pullback. That's a lot of profit taking. After the gap up after earnings. I do like the equity curve, though, bottom left, top right, but be careful today as it's starting to pull back. Next one is Bros. We just recently started tracking this. This is pulling off of the high, but bouncing off that level of the 20-day exponential moving average. Earnings hit yesterday. Closed candle, the price is lower than it was the open. So the price is moving down. It's green because it's still higher than yesterday's close, but that's what I call a bearish bullish candle. All right, next stock is ABCL. Earnings hit a couple of days ago, little rebound after that. I definitely need to see it get out of its own way, break out of both of these levels of resistance and go above the 20-day exponential moving average. Once that happens, I have a profit target sitting at about 22.63. All right, and that's the next headwind, but I need it to get out of its own way. I do like the rebound here yesterday. I like the open candle. Where did it stop? Right at this level of resistance of 14.86. All right, this is why we look at support and resistance, folks. AITX, I know this is a tough stock to be in. This is a speculative stock. I did a video on it. I like what they do. I will keep my eyes on this stock, and I'd wait for a better buying opportunity, especially going above the 30-day exponential moving average. All right, folks, with that being said, that was a lot of stuff that I covered today. All right, Glenn, where is your veterans poppy, or is it in Canadian tradition only? What is a poppy? I don't know what a veteran poppy is. I don't know. I can sound like a Marine and go, "Arr! All right, because that's what I am. But I don't know what a veteran poppy is. I know I'm going to eat tonight. I'm going to eat me some steak. I'm going to go eat steak with some bacon. Yeah, that's what I'm getting, steak and bacon. Woo-wee. All right. Remember, if you haven't hit the like button, folks, hit the like button. If you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, folks, hit the subscribe button. Please do, especially if you find this useful to what you do. And I'm going to continue. I am going to continue between Patrick and I to put out the content that you guys want to see. All right, we did a Shiba Inu video. You guys flocked to that video. And if you're not already supporting us on the YouTube channel, by all means, please do so. Please do so. Our goal is to present to you good information on stocks. All right? Don't make fun of Canadian veterans. I'm not making fun of no Canadian veteran. I'm just asking. I don't know what a veteran poppy is. What did I say? What did I say that made fun of Canadian veterans? Not at all. I would never do that. All right? I would never do that. All right, don't forget about trading for a charity every Tuesday and Wednesday at 11:30 here on our YouTube channel. Follow Patrick, help him hit our goal to help less fortunate children for the holiday. Your Shiba video was really good, thanks. And it was all about education. For those of you who didn't watch that, it's all about education about what was going on with Shiba. So thank you for that, Robbie. I appreciate that. Yum, steak and bacon. That's right. What time does the charity session start? On Tuesdays and Wednesdays, it's at 11:30 a.m. And we've raised about $1,000 in 2 days. Folks, you guys can make a lot of children happy for Christmas. And again, if you're not a subscriber to the channel, if you subscribe, you automatically donate. You automatically donate. And if you are a subscriber to the channel and you want to donate, you can use the super chat function. Thank you for that, Adam, saying, Glenn, good job. I appreciate that. I'll send you a picture of the poppy. Hey, email it to me, glennt@vectorvest.com. 2 N's, GLENNT@vectorvest.com. All right, folks, until next week, thank you guys for being here and supporting the channel. Adios, arrivederci, ciao, au revoir, sayonara, aloha to all my peeps in Hawaii. Salam, shalom, namaste, yasu. Until next time, folks, see ya.